Okay, can we start, guys? Am I audible to all of you? Just message me one or two, please. Okay, okay, guys. So what we will do is we will be discussing 2019 question paper. So we have already done with 2020, and I'm expecting that you understood the way we are, proceeding with the question papers. So, and I've also told you to select the 3 questions which you're going to answer from the 6 choices. You don't have any option from first question and the 5th question that we need to compulsorily attend. We don't even look for what they're asking in the beginning, right? When we start writing, then only we will see the question and we will start writing whatever it is, whether it is difficult or easy, we will see that time. If you don't know anything, we just completely ignore it. Okay, so if you know something, we will write it on the spot itself. That's how we deal with question number 1 and question number 5. But you have choice for rest of the question. We need to pick 3 from 6. So I want to know how you have selected, and okay, so okay, tell me, guys. So these are the questions that we have. I have already shared. So which all questions you have selected? Can you type, or you can even unmute and you can speak as well? And tell me the reason why you have selected the questions. At least few of you can talk, it will be good. The reason why you have selected those 3 questions out of 6, then we can correct it as well. I think if I get 2, 3 or 4 responses, I think the majority will be with that itself. Guys, anyone? My choice is your choice. No, not my choice. Last time I have told my choices. Now you have to tell your choice. We have so many students, and at least 5 of you can talk, so that I'll get to know how many of you understood the way we need to proceed. Now, is it because you don't know, or you don't want to talk? Tell me, guys.
So 2, 3, 6. 2, 3, and 6.
Let me see questions. 2, you have a thinker Mead over there and ethnography related, reserve army of labor. Okay, I'm not convinced with that. 3, discuss the importance. Okay, unanticipated. There's a good selection, very good selection if you are strong in thinkers. Then 7, right? 7. It's a very general one. Okay, fine.
But actually 6.
Tell me the reason.
But actually it was 6.
6 is fine. Gender related question, that is fine. And then theory of power, that is fine. Constant sum and variable sum, you can write Parson, you can write Weber, and you can also talk about pluralist, Robert Dahl and everything. Okay, that is perfectly fine. Okay, tell me the reason. Okay, reason for 3 and 5 was okay, but why 2?
Sir, Mead was there.
So you are good in Mead?
No, sir. Actually, you had asked to prefer thinker, because thinker portion will be our strength.
Yes, thinker is there, Mead is there, and then this is a general question. Second one I don't consider, but it is not worth 20 marker, right? Ethnography, you will be facing difficulty related to content in writing the significance of ethnography, even though we have examples, we have Durkheim's and everything. But I don't think this is going to be good for 20 marker. If it would have been a 10 marker, then I would have gone for it, since Mead is there and this is 10 marker. And again, even this reserve army of labor, even though we know that this is the army, this is a labor which is kept out, right, in the informal setup for a very less paid category, so they can be called at any point of time. That's why the capitalist system is surviving. And then what is the opinion of feminist scholars? We can do something in it, but I'm not happy with this 20 marker. There are obvious limitations. That please turn off your mic, or your background noise is there. So here I'm not okay. This one I'm not happy. let's look into some other, anyone else want to talk? Instead of 2, why don't you guys go for this one? This one is very good, no? Compare and contrast the contribution of Marx and Weber on social stratification. We can talk about Marx, you can talk about Weber related to social stratification. We clearly know that more than Mead, when you're talking about, there's a socio-psychological theory, and within that theory also some complication is there. But you are only talking about Mead there, right? But here you can talk about Marx and Weber. That is also 20 marker. This is also 20 marker. And this is stratification, very easy one. And secondly, this 20 marker, if you see A, question number A is also fine related to modernization and class, but it is also having other dimension. We can talk about all these dimensions, which again we have studied in stratification. Caste is one dimension, ethnicity is another dimension, race is another dimension. So we have enough and more content than that ethnography. I don't know your situation, since we have already discussed in the class, but we have completed everything in the class and you know each and every topic and you should be knowing. But again, when you're selecting, do you think now it is better to attempt 4 than 2? Again, this one, Ayurvedic Karve, this is also very direct one, right? That classification, North Indian, South Indian, Center, West and East, and everything is crystal clear. So once you know that, this is also going to be a 10 marker. We have full of content. So anytime I will go with this 4th one rather than 2. 2, I am not concerned. Some of you may not be knowing about this reserve army of labor. Okay, and here I'm only getting Mead, but that question I'm getting Weber and Marx. So I have more content. And related to ethnography, if it was generally some methods of data collection, something like that they're asking, I have very good content for 20 mark. Now remember guys, this is of 20 mark. If it is 10 mark, I would have managed it. 20 mark, I can manage it. But what I can do here is I have limitation. But other question, I have got class. I can talk about that. I can talk about stratification. I can talk about inequality. I can talk about mobility and how different other dimensions also coming into picture, race, ethnicity, caste, and all these I can mention. I can also talk about Weber's, multi-dimensional pattern. Okay, I can bring in thinkers, but here hardly I can talk about Durkheim's approach and a few other examples which we have discussed, Evans Pritchard and Redcliffe Brown. But I have limitations here. Did you guys got the point? Or understood or not? Why I won't go for 2? Anytime I'll go for 4. 3 is okay, because if you look for 3, discuss the importance of interpretive understanding of social phenomena and explain its limitations. This is from 2nd chapter and interpretive sociology, or we know very well about Weber. I have got a thinker. And then I will be talking about positivism and how from positivism changes have happened in interpretive sociology. That was objective study of objective reality. This become objective study of subjective reality. What is the significance? What is the importance? Internal meanings and motives and emotions have been considered. Micro aspect also considered. But what are the limitations? That also we need to discuss. That we have already discussed, so there is no point in doing that now. So this is going to be very easy for me. So I'm okay with this. All world religions are patriarchal. Substantiate your answer with example. Now here I may face some problem with the content. Guys, again, let me tell you one thing. We are not going to, if I get time to think, I can write too much of things, right? But in exam, all these questions are very easy. If we get time to think, then all these are going to be answered. Now, when you see this question, I feel like it is perfectly fine. But imagine that you are sitting in that situation. It may be difficult. The question, it looks easy. I can talk about Islam. I can talk any religion for that matter. It is going to be, whether it is Hinduism, I can talk about Manusmriti and how it is biased. All these things I can talk. It is patriarchal. And I may be able to write few thinkers also. I can mention about Anne Oakley. I can talk about Sylvia Valby. Whatever random statement you want to write about patriarchy, just taking their name, you can still write. I won't face problem with the content, but I don't have time to think there. So I will, if I don't get any other better choice, I'll come back to this. I'll keep it aside. Okay. I will not be so much, into this after seeing this question, because that is of 20 mark. I'll have to write too much. Okay. I will go for it. The reason is here I got a thinker. second chapter question, very good. Here I got Merton. So I will try to manage it. In that way, I can go for it. But even then, I look for, the other side also if I get some better options as well. Guys, I'll come back to the answer, okay? Merton, what is the difference between unanticipated consequences and latent function? We'll come to that. As of now, we are into the selection process, okay? So I'm okay with 3. So from this, I completely ignored 2 because 2 was not worth for me. First thing was, I'm only able to write Mead. I'm not that convinced with Mead. On the other hand, I can write better. I'm not convinced with ethnography and its significance too much. Rather, I can go with something else, okay? And then Reserve Army of Labor. I don't want to think too much about these things during the exam. So I'm not concerned about 2. I'll just ignore 2. So 3, 4, I'm okay with it. If I need to select 2 from this, I'll go for this 2. Let's look into the other 3. Why is gender a dimension of social stratification? Yeah, we have already discussed this. We can go for it. Gender related question, very easy to answer. How does gender intersect other dimensions of inequality based on caste, class, race, and ethnicity? There is the very same question as that of this one, right? Here, class, and however, this is also predominant. So here they're talking about class as one dimension. At the same time, these dimensions as well. There they're talking about gender as one dimension, right? And then other intersections, caste, class, race, and ethnicity. It's the same question. The way you answer is also same. So if I'm answering that, I will be answering this also. No problem in this. Okay. And I don't want to think too much for answering these 2 questions. And luckily only you will get these type of questions. There are disadvantages also. The examiner may feel it repetitive, but that doesn't matter anyway for us. What are the theoretical models of societal power? Constant sum power, variable sum power. We can talk about Parson. We can talk about Weber. We can talk about the pluralist as well. This is 10 marker affirmative action. We can write. So I got 1 from here for sure, okay, and 2 from there. So I'm done with it. But let's look into the what is informal labor. Discuss the need for challenges regulating. Very general question. I'm not into this. Feminist scholars argue new media is masculine. Again, general. Discuss the conception of circulation of elite. Very clear answer. I know that, but this is of 10 marker, 20 marker. I am getting 2 general questions. I ignore this one. I'm not concerned about this. Remember the thumb rule. We will go with maximum questions where thinkers is there. Okay. In the light of judicial intervention on living relations, discuss the future of marriage and family. We clearly know the answer for this. Okay. How, according to Merton, our deviant subcultures are generated. That's also fine for me. How is terrorism a new form of asymmetrical warfare? What are some challenges in trying to win the war on terrorism? Okay, so this is also fine for me. So I'll go for 6, 8, 3, 4. Out of this, 3, 4, and 6 is fine for me. I'll go for 3, 4, and 6. I hope you guys got the reason. So this is how the selection need to be done first, and it has to be done in the first 2 minutes. And this 1 and 5, I don't even look for it. I'll now come back to the question and I'll start answering these questions. First one, see, emergence of sociology, every year you are getting, right? Discuss the historical antecedents of the emergence of sociology as a discipline. So when they're asking about historical antecedents, you need to talk about the socio-political economic conditions during medieval Europe and how the changes have happened, how modernity, industrial revolution, urbanization, right, commercial revolution, all these intellectual revolution you need to write. All these are supposed to come in your answer. French Revolution, then democracy established and challenges associated with that. Middle class have come, slums have emerged, nuclear families have come, migration, new types of crime, new type of poverty. Everything that we have learned need to be incorporated here. The situation that time, mainly the socio-economic political situation in medieval Europe need to be mentioned as the historical antecedents. Also, talk about intellectual background that we have discussed in the last session and in the answer writing module also. Talk about the philosophy of history, social surveys, Darwin's theory of biological evolution. All these things need to be stacked in this particular answer, though it is of 10 mark. Okay. Second one, Davison. Davis and Moore made it clear that social stratification is a functional necessity and also an unconscious device. Yes, it is very clear, well-established theory, so we don't have any problem with this theory, direct theory. So make his propositions. There are societies made up of some positions. Some are functionally more important than others. Functionally more important positions need to be filled with the talented people. To get the talented people, you need to pay more salary, more rewards. So then obviously the strata will be created, inequality will be generated, stratification will come. So it is fulfilling some vital functions for the society. What is that? More important positions are filled with the most important people, like the judges, like the civil servants, the police. The important positions are filled with the most talented people. But you can also write the criticism as Melvin Tuman's objections, how he raised objections, how to judge the relative importance of a position, how to measure the talent of the people. And then Davis and Moore has been given the clarification. It is not impossible, it is difficult, and we have given two conditions: by the degree to which one is functionally unique, by the degree to which one dependent on the other. That way you can understand the importance of a position, relative importance of a position. So there's a very simple question. We have more content. Guys, these two definitely you should be getting 7 marks. There is no compromise in that. Third one is the easiest, Marx's conception of fetishism of commodities, theory of alienation. We discussed the concept of fetishism of commodity. Which chapter in the this in itself is a chapter in the book Das Kapital. Okay, so we talk about that as theory of alienation, how object become the superior of the subject. Remember that statement in the capitalist society, the relation between the object and the subject inverses. The object become the master of the subject. So whatever we have discussed, talk about that. Alienation, how is it increasing? The degree of alienation is increasing in different modes of production. In capitalism, there are 4 levels of alienation. That's what you need to mention. This is a question where I'm going to get around 7 marks. Okay. Present a sociological review on the new middle class is a general question. You will not be losing, you will not be gaining too much mark. Around 5 to 6 marks we can easily get. New middle class. But guys, the question is about new middle class. But even then, you have to talk about the traditional middle class also. Right from the emergence of sociology, you need to mention. You need to talk about Marx. You need to talk about the concept of polarization. Even though Marx mentioned about middle class, like intermediate, don't use the word middle class, intermediate classes. But over a period of time, it has been polarized into either upper or lower, bourgeois or proletariat, through the process of bourgeoisization or proletarianization, or in general, you call it as class polarization. Talk about Weber's idea, middle class. Talk about this guy, Darendorf also. And then new middle class, their aspirations, how is it changing, right? And their lifestyles. Weber's, you can use Weber also, lifestyle, life chances, their mobility, education, marriage, family, migration, urbanization, jobs, all the suicide among the middle class. Okay, so there's also a question where I will be able to write good, but I'm not expecting 7 marks here. 5 to 6 is very well for me. Probability sampling strategies with example. Direct question, 7 mark easily you can get. Probability sampling. We have done with that topic. I'm not going to discuss that. Okay, so this I have already told you how you're going to approach it. Importance of interpretive understanding of social phenomena and explain its limitation. First, you talk about emergence, 1 line, then talk about positivism, its limitation, how Weber have introduced the interpretive understanding of social action, his idea of social action, that is the scope of sociology for Weber, and study the meanings attached by the actor to the action, establish the cause and effect relationship, ensure objectivity by following proper methods like Verstehen, causal pluralism, ideal types, comparative analysis, trained investigator, and all those you can mention, and limitations also, and how to overcome that limitations also. Okay, so that is, again, I have very good content, so I'll be answering this question like that. All world religions are patriarchal. Substantiate with example. I don't think, even though it is a general question, I'll go for it because the other 2 are very much good for me. This is a thinker question. There's also a thinker related question. This one, it is very easy, right? I can talk about Hinduism. I can talk about Confucianism. I can talk about Judaism. I can talk about Islam. Okay. Even this, when you talk about Islam, you can talk about this polygamy concept, very much biased. Okay. And then when you, again, you can talk about Parda system. When you talk about Hinduism, you can talk related to property. You can talk related to male preference. Okay, man cannot renounce the world without procreating the son. And then practices like sati, and then widow remarriage was not allowed. There is a discrimination. Okay, so you have a lot of examples, but I know that this is going to be slightly general from my side, but even then, I am having the content. No problem with that. Guys, you are getting the way we are approaching the paper, right? It will be like this. And if you can follow that during exam, it is going to be very simple, guys. Just why I am repeatedly doing this exercise now is because so that it will be printed in your muscle memory. So as soon as you see the questions, you will think in these dimensions and you will go for it. Now, what's the difference between unanticipated consequences and latent functions? Guys, many of you think that both are same, right? Latent means unanticipated. Intended and unintended, anticipated and unanticipated, manifest and latent. Manifest means anticipated, latent means unanticipated. So what is the difference here? Can anyone tell me what is the difference here? Just message me. Anyone tell me what is the difference? Now listen, here it is consequences. Can you see this? Those consequences. This is functions. Now consequences can be function and dysfunction. That means it can be latent, dysfunction, and function. So when I say unanticipated consequences, it's a bigger one. Within that, function will come, dysfunction will come. So consequences means it can be function as well as dysfunction, positive as well as negative consequence. But this one is about only function. So can I say latent function is part of unanticipated consequences? Yes, it is not unanticipated consequences. Take it as latent consequences. So this is what they're asking is latent consequences and latent function. Within consequences, functions will come. What is excluded? Dysfunction. That also you need to write and take any of his theory, even the theory of anomaly, talk about the examples. I've told you scientists even considered as deviant. Bureaucrats have considered as deviant, right? A teacher is considered as a deviant because of unanticipated consequences, unintended outcome. But those are not latent functions, it is dysfunctions. Okay, so this is a question which I'm going to attempt very satisfactorily and it's going to be very good for me. Now, fourth one, modernization presupposes class society. Yes, when the society is getting modernized, the traditional hierarchies and stratifications will automatically go. Things will be based on your merits. It will be achievement-oriented society. Talk about Parsons, pattern variable, ascription versus achievement, and all those things we can mention there. And even modernity is all about this only, right? Secular society, education is important, income is important, class is important, your position in the production process is important, rather than race, caste, ethnicity, and all those things. But even though class is important, but still all these are playing important role now, right? So caste is very important, ethnicity is important, race is still important. And you can mention about Weber also here. Okay, multi-dimensional pattern of inequality, even though guys, that year you see the questions, this is related to stratification, this is related to stratification. Similar question like this has been asked in part B also. But it is both same, right? This and the other one is same. They just changed it from class to gender. Hope you got the content, right? And talk about upper caste and rich, one combination. Lower caste and rich, another combination. Who's getting superiority? Upper caste, rich will be getting superiority. Similarly, you can also talk about poor, upper caste, poor, lower caste, poor. How the difference and all these dimensions you can mention. Similarly, using race as well, you can mention that multi-dimensional pattern of inequality. Inequality is cutting across different dimensions. Each dimensions play important role in deciding your lifestyle, life chances, opportunities, mobility, everything. Even though class is predominant, class is important in the modern society. Every other dimension is also still considered important. Race, though it is illegal now, but it was very important. Okay. Compare and contrast contributions of Marx and Weber. You know Marx theory of class, talk about class in itself, class for itself, class polarization, bourgeoisization, proletarianization, and all those ideas. Weber, talk about class, status, power. That theory, draw the diagram which we have discussed in the class, and then explain the difference, how from Marx, Weber deviated, his concept of life chances, his concept of lifestyle. Okay, lifestyle is the way you are living. Life chances is about the opportunities, the chances of mobility, the kind of education, the healthcare, and everything that you're getting. Let's talk about that. In fact, it is an extension of Marxian version. Marx talk about 2 classes, Weber talk about 4 classes, that property, upper class. I'm not going to talk about the answer here. I'm just telling you what are that. In case, if you want to, all these are there in the PDF which is given to you. Airavati Karve is a direct question, nothing to mention. In different region. This question was discussed in the previous session also, if you remember. Across region marriage, then I've told you, you can use this concept, this study of Airavati Karve, and you can tell the consequences of across region marriage. Guys, differentiate. Yeah, this is what we have just now discussed. Life chances and lifestyle. Just now we have discussed it. Life chances are, the concept was given by Weber. In his theory of stratification. Life chances is about the chances of your mobility, your opportunity, your education, your health, and every other facilities. Lifestyle is the way of living. Discuss the issues of access and exclusion in higher education in India. It's a general question. What is civil society? Paper 1, part 2, you may get few general question in part 2. Okay. Because that will be from the lower areas. Civil society, direct one again. Present and not on civil society engagement with the science and technology policy in India. It's somewhat related to the current affairs, so that all you can mention. Andre Gunder Frank, theory of development of underdevelopment. Direct theory from chapter 10. How will you think Tonys, Durkheim, Weber, and Marx predicted the character of modern society? Guys, here Durkheim and Weber you clearly know. Marx also you know how Marx's predicting about socialism, communism, and all. We will say that it is utopian. Durkheim, we understood that in terms of mechanical and organic solidarity. Now, Tonys, you may not be knowing, but actually, at this juncture, you may not be knowing, but when you clear the prelims, no, you will obviously go through the previous year papers, and they have asked questions from Tonys, even though it is not there in the syllabus. They ask questions like Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. They have asked about sociological imagination thought by Tonys. So you might be referring to Tonys for sure. And if you know something about him, at least Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft, if you have mentioned it, is just like organic and mechanical solidarity. Gemeinschaft is almost similar to mechanical solidarity, traditional society, traditional people, very much personal relations maintained between people. But when it comes to Gesellschaft, it's like organic solidarity. The relations are maintained, but it is like formal relations, formal interaction. Informal, formal. Similar to organic and mechanical solidarity. So at least that, if you know, you will be able to write good, because all 4 we need to capture in 10 mark, right? That's enough for us. This is going to be a very good answer for you, and you will get very good score if you can mention Tonys also. That just one line about Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. Okay, now this one. This is similar to that question we have answered. There I have first answered about class. Here I will first answer about gender. I talk about patriarchy. I talk about Anne Oakley. I talk about Sylvia Valby. I talk about Fran Ansley. And then other dimensions. For example, a black woman. I need to bring in race, right? Black and gender. Women, class, poor. A poor black woman face more problem than you you can take different combinations and you can explain. Rich white woman, or take different combination, and then you can explain who's suffering maximum, who's suffering. And in the Indian context, you can come and you can talk about caste also, talk about a poor Dalit woman, because race we can't talk in India. When you mention about caste, you talk about a poor Dalit woman and a rich Brahmin woman, their socioeconomic conditions. Guys, these are questions where you can have a lot of combinations and you can explain your knowledge like anything. Okay. theoretical models of power, guys. Here, this is a very good question. When you're getting this question, you will be scoring very good, because even 2015, when I scored good in sociology paper 1, this question was there again. You can talk about Weber, you can talk about Parson, the constant sum concept and variable sum concept of power from the politics and society chapter. Along with that, you also need to mention about other concepts of power. It's not that the answer is complete just by talking about. Okay, here it is mentioned about what are the theoretical models of societal power. So you can talk about all. In 2015, I think they've asked specifically about Weber and Parson. But even then, I have mentioned about Robert Dahl and all other pluralist and every other concepts related to power. Just like this question is answered, I answered that time. Which one of them is most applicable in advanced industrial societies? It's up to you guys. You can tell, but most importantly, what you can use is actually Parsons concept and also pluralist concept, pluralist idea. Okay, power is divided. Everybody is having their own, areas. Next is affirmative action. That's it, right? We have done with the questions that we are going to attempt. Others we have ignored because these are general questions, and I don't think anything is difficult here. You can talk. Is there anything required to discuss? This is the way I will answer. This is my thought framework. I am just telling you the thought framework, how you're thinking and how the content you already have, either in the PDF or from the classes. This is how the thought framework will work, right? What is informal labor? We know the challenges in regulating the informal labor in post-industrial society general, but we know that from chapter work and economic life. Feminist scholars, circulation of elites, lion, foxes, and they keep on changing. Live in relation, you can write it, you won't face any problem. Okay, now tell me guys, if anyone want to go with any other choices, then you can go with it. Otherwise, I hope you understood my choices the way I am selecting it. So I want you also to be aligned to these thoughts, because you have attended my sessions, and obviously you will also be strong in some areas compared to the. It's not that we are weak or strong. It's that here, these questions, we don't have a ready-made answer, right? We need to think too much, and that we don't have time. The more we start thinking during the exam, the chances that we will write will take a lot of time, and we may not get good content also. Okay, so that possibility I need to reduce. That's very important. That's the reason why I'm always sticking to thinkers, and I'm always sticking to whatever we know. And within that, maybe one general question, I'm okay with that. In this, I can find this as a general question, 10 marker. It's okay with me, because I clearly know about this dimensions of stratification. I'm strong in that. And then this is theoretical. This is a theoretical aspect. Theories, we are extremely strong. So we don't have any problem with that. And we don't have any choice for 5. I'll repeat, right? Here also, this is related to stratification. We are very strong. Marx and Weber, it's very happy. Airavati Karve, we never miss this concept. So this is a beautiful one. Interpretive understanding, Weber, direct, we know. This is somewhat general, but it's okay for me, because here also I'm getting a thinker. So this is how I'm making my selections, guys. And then we don't have any choice with respect to this. Anything you want to say, guys, related to this? If not, we can stop here. See you tomorrow or Saturday. I'll update in the group, guys. Okay.